Nahash was an Ammonite king who is most notably mentioned in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 11. The Ammonites were descendants of Lot through his younger daughter, Genesis chapter 19 verse 38, and were often adversaries of Israel. Nahash's name means serpent, a term that aligns with his reputation for hostility and cunningness in his dealings with others. Nahash's infamous siege of Jabesh-Gilead. The most detailed account of Nahash occurs in 1 Samuel chapter 11. Here, Nahash besieged the city of Jabesh-Gilead, a town in the territory of Gad east of the Jordan River. The inhabitants, unable to defend themselves, sought a treaty of peace. Nahash agreed to spare them, but only under the condition that he would gouge out the right eye of every man in the city. This demand was both cruel and strategic. Cruelty. It demonstrated his ruthlessness and served as a form of humiliation and domination over his enemies. Strategy. By blinding their right eye, Nahash intended to render them militarily ineffective, as soldiers relied heavily on their dominant eye for aiming weapons, particularly in the use of shields. The elders of Jabesh-Gilead requested 7 days to seek help from their fellow Israelites, to which Nahash surprisingly agreed. This decision might reflect his overconfidence in Israel's disunity at the time. The role of King Saul. News of Nahash's siege and cruel demands reached Saul, who had recently been anointed as Israel's first king. Filled with righteous anger and empowered by Jehovah's Spirit, Saul rallied an army of 330,000 men from Israel and Judah. They marched to Jabesh-Gilead and decisively defeated Nahash and his forces. This victory was significant for several reasons. Unifying Israel. It helped to solidify Saul's position as king by demonstrating his leadership and military capability. Deliverance by Jehovah. The account highlights that the victory was ultimately attributed to Jehovah's support, reinforcing the idea that he was Israel's true deliverer. Nahash's later mention. Interestingly, Nahash is briefly mentioned later in the Bible in 2 Samuel chapter 10 verse 2. After Nahash's death, King David sought to show kindness to Nahash's son, Hanun, because Nahash had been kind to David. The nature of Nahash's kindness toward David is not explicitly detailed in the scriptures, leaving room for some speculation. This act of kindness may have occurred during David's time as a fugitive from King Saul, suggesting that Nahash and David shared a mutual animosity toward Saul. Spiritual lessons and insights. Jehovah's Witnesses draw practical lessons from the account of Nahash. Jehovah's deliverance. The defeat of Nahash serves as a reminder of Jehovah's ability to rescue his people when they place their trust in him. The importance of unity. Saul's rallying of the tribes to defend Jabesh-Gilead underscores the strength that comes from unity among Jehovah's people. Resisting oppression. Nahash's attempt to subjugate and humiliate Israel reflects the tactics of those who oppose Jehovah's sovereignty. This reminds witnesses to stand firm and rely on Jehovah when facing opposition or persecution. Nahash's legacy. Although Nahash himself is not a figure of righteousness, his role in biblical history helps to highlight the stark contrast between the cruelty of human rulers and the justice of Jehovah as the ultimate king. His interactions with Israel also set the stage for significant events in the early monarchy, shaping the narrative of Saul's rise and David's eventual reign. Through this account, Jehovah's Witnesses are encouraged to trust in Jehovah's ability to protect and guide his people, even when faced with formidable adversaries like Nahash. Please share and like and please subscribe.